Hyundai Tucson, this is a 2009 2.7 V6, engine management light on, no real noticeable running issues, but it does have multiple fault codes stored. In this video I'm going to be going over the process I use to find and hopefully fix this fault. Okay, so I've already done a scan of the vehicle. It showed up random misfire, it showed up 2 other cylinder misfires, and it has showed up fuel trim fault code. So P0170 and P0173, fuel trim bank 1, bank 2 fault codes. So with that, I've also pulled some history on this one. There was some service history from other workshops, multiple workshops actually.
Those multiple workshop visits spanned over 18 months to 24 months in total, and it was a previous owner that had it and decided to go to different workshops to try and have it rectified. Those fault codes, as in the service history I could see, were all the same than what was present on the initial day that I checked it. So this was a new customer with the vehicle. They'd recently purchased it, not a new customer to us, and they decided to bring it in to get it checked to see if we could rectify it. So some of the parts and components that were previously replaced, spark plugs and leads were done, intake manifold gasket was done, exhaust manifold gasket was done. They also had the timing had also been done, and there was some notes down on the top end may need some repairs to try and rectify this issue. Airflow meter was also replaced. So there was multiple different things attempted at this, but the fault still remained. And in the next clip you're going to see me do my very initial examination of this vehicle and start to get into the diagnostic. So after reviewing the live data and seeing that the fuel trims were completely out of whack, I went on to the smoke test, and this is my smoke test machine here set up. It's got a bladder that you inflate and it goes into the air intake, and then those yellow parts were clamps for the pipes so I could get full flow through. And what I'm checking here is around the throttle body and obviously the intake manifold as well, but you can start to see that there is some smoke. I detected a leak coming through the throttle body, and I tried to give a close-up shot here, and that was found relatively quick. And at this stage, when I see a leak and fuel trims out, it was speak to the customer, tell them what has to be replaced, and then we recheck afterwards. So we found a fault, but we need parts, and then we'll confirm if there's any other issues after repair.
So I'm just getting ready to park this vehicle now. As you could see on that smoke test, the throttle body is actually leaking through on where the shaft rotates, so where those cables rotate up and down. It's managing to bypass there and come out. Whether there's other smoke leaks, I do not know, but that needs to be rectified first and foremost before we do anything. That just shows you the power of having a smoke tester to test certain problems that you're having. Without the smoke tester there, I would not have found that issue. There's just no chance I would have found it. So always bear that in mind when you're coming across fuel trim faults or these issues that maybe just throwing on lights, don't have real performance issues too much. Always consider having a smoke test done and checking to see if there's any visible leaks there.
Fast forward to a number of days later, we had the vehicle back in, we had the throttle body in stock, and I just installed it, and here was me smoke testing to confirm that the leaks were now sorted. In this case, it showed the importance of rechecking work because one of the sensors on the gasket side at the throttle body was actually leaking as well. So even though this is a new part being installed, I give a close-up image of it here. That gasket had an issue, so I had to remove that, replace that gasket, and then we were able to smoke test it successfully, and then I was on to the next checks. The next checks in this case are the very straightforward ones. We've cleared the fault codes and now we're seeing if there's any issues still there or not. I always advise the customers when I'm doing diagnostics like this is, yes, we've found a fault, we don't know if there's any more, we have to rectify that fault and recheck. In this case, we still have issues. As plain and as clear as could be, check engine light comes back on, the lumpy idle return and the fault codes come back as well. So yes, we have resolved an issue with the throttle body, smoke test redone and everything is sealed, but we have a fault. Speak to the customer, they give the go ahead to keep checking. I bring it for more extensive test drives. I record live data of the oxygen sensors. I record live data of the airflow meter and the fuel trims. And then I can pull in and do a bit of analysis to see what's happening, especially under load, etc., as it gets worse. What I did notice was that the oxygen sensors, as it heated up, started to become inactive. And when I'm back at the workshop, I decide to do a disconnect test of that airflow meter while monitoring the data. And what you can see is the fuel trims bank 1 and bank 2 are straight away going back to where they should. The oxygen sensors are back online, fluctuating as well. And we now have a response. So it's not taking that meter to error, and it's diverting to like a throttle response. With that, I tell the customer we need to get an airflow meter, even though it's been replaced previously, and let's do a recheck. So this is the new airflow meter installed, and this is the air mass airflow sensor reading, which at the start is kilograms per hour. I'm just about to change it now to grams per second. The air conditioning is on, which is giving it a higher reading than you would kind of normally expect to see. But at the same time, this is a higher reading than the old meter was producing. It looked like it was within range, but it wasn't. It just wasn't on the level it needed to be. And a low airflow meter reading is going to give you a lean running engine. So I now had oxygen sensor response. There was no initial light coming on. I didn't have any idling issue. And the most important thing we want to do here is confirm that we now have rectified the issue. So the screen record you can see is 7 minutes into it. So this is the first time I pulled in on my initial road test after repair. And I'm finding that everything is still responsive. No idling issues. No light is coming on. And so far so good. But we are going to keep checking as we go. I'm going to go back out there. The next thing to check, so the engine light is off. No light on the dash. No rough idle. Running good. We'll go back out here. Back. And this is where we learn a lot. No fault code. And no fuel trim fault codes at the moment. So it's looking very promising. And not only is it very promising, it is now fixed. This issue is resolved. I do further extensive test drives and monitoring of the vehicle in the workshop, and nothing returned. It was perfect. The customer was notified that we had no longer any issues of note, and they were happy to come and collect the vehicle. I can say this job was done a long time ago, and it has ran perfectly since. So this issue is finally resolved for this customer, and that airflow meter that was fitted previously was faulty. They just weren't able to pick up on it. And honestly, it was a very difficult one to pick up on, because when I looked at that airflow meter, it was reading as well. I did all the usual initial checks where you check the curve of it, you do a pedal blip, throttle blip, and you see if it's reactive. You double the RPM and see if it doubles the grams per second. It did all of that, but it was still reading on the low side, and that disconnect test showed it up. And that is it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it informative. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. And hope to see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.